Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. We are on week 2 of our starting and growing my business 12-week course. If you're interested in what that is and you're new here, go ahead and check out the playlist of business, and I explain kind of what it is and what it entails. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started on our week 2. I did a live for week 1 last Monday, and it was my first live. The quality was not very good, and I wasn't really a fan of it. So I've decided to go ahead and pre-record the weeks, and I'll put them up, which will be beneficial to you because I will link below kind of little chapters of the course so that you can reference back to those times. And if you're not interested in the kind of religious foundation principle at the beginning of each week and each class, then you can simply go below and skip that and go straight to the business principle, which this week is going to be identifying unmet customer needs. So let's get to it. Okay, so this week's foundation principle is exercising faith in Jesus Christ. And the first question that we want to ponder is, how does my faith in Jesus Christ affect my self-reliance? I'm going to go ahead, and there is a video that you can find on my church's website that is really cool to watch. I really enjoy watching the videos, but due to copyright purposes, I am just going to be reading it from this book. You can also find the link to this book, the PDF version, that you can go ahead and download below. It is free, and that way you can follow along. But I'm going to go ahead and read this video. It is from Elder David A. Bednar, and this is what it says. It says, "Taking action is the exercise of faith. The children of Israel are carrying the Ark of the Covenant. They come to the river Jordan, and the promise is that they will cross over on dry land. But when does the water part? Their feet are wet. They walk into the river, they act, and power follows. The water parts. We oftentimes believe, I'm going to have this perfect understanding, and then I'm going to transform that into what I do. I would suggest that we have enough to get started. We have a sense of the right direction. Faith is a principle, the principle of action and of power. True faith is focused in and on the Lord Jesus Christ and always leads to action." So I really liked that little story. So the questions that we're supposed to discuss, and I do have a link also to my Facebook group where I post questions, and kind of the collaboration is done within that Facebook group. So make sure to check that out if you haven't, and hopefully you can get some collaboration with others to discuss all the questions and the activities that are done within this course. But the questions that we're supposed to discuss are, why does true faith always lead to action? And why is faith necessary for God to help us temporally and spiritually? Alright, so within that Facebook group, I did make my personal observations on those questions, and this is what I wrote, and I'm just reading off of my laptop over here what I put. I said, "Isn't faith ultimately what makes us do and live a certain way? We exercise faith every day. When we get into our car, we have faith that we'll make it to our destination. We have faith that if we treat our bodies with respect, we'll live a little longer, healthier, and happier life. In the same way, I have faith that if I work hard and include my Savior in developing my business, then I will succeed. Oftentimes, I think we associate the ups and downs of a business as successes and failures rather than learning experiences. Just like life, we have to experience the downsides in order to learn and make necessary adjustments that will lead to the upsides. We can be strengthened in that journey. I have faith that Heavenly Father doesn't want me to fail in my endeavors. What He wants is to gently lead and guide me down the path that will bring the most success and joy." So to me, faith always does lead to action. It is that faith that causes us to act a certain way and to do things a certain way because we have faith that we're going to have a certain outcome based on those actions. So, why is faith necessary for God to help us temporally and spiritually? Now, in Lectures on Faith, this is a quote, and it says, "Are not all your exertions of every kind dependent on your faith? As we receive by faith all temporal blessings that we do receive, so we in like manner receive by faith all spiritual blessings that we do receive. But faith is not only the principle of action, but a power also." And I think that is really powerful. I think the path to self-reliance is a journey of faith. And that as we act on our faith, that we will receive specific blessings that can help us grow and become more self-reliant. And throughout all the scriptures, we can find examples of that. So let me read to you some of the examples that are given in this book. "Because Daniel would not stop praying, he was thrown into a den of lions, but God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths. And no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. The Lord gave Lehi the Liahona to guide his family, and it did work for them according to their faith in God. When they were slothful and forgot to exercise their faith and diligence, they did not progress in their journey. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, and prove me how herewith, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it." Malachi 3:10. And that is a specific one that I have witnessed in my life, that as I have paid my tithing, we have been blessed financially and in other ways that we've been blessed. And I know it's from paying our tithing. And that as we act on that principle, we will be blessed. And because of that, because we've been blessed financially, we're able to be more self-reliant, and we're able to help and serve and donate to other causes to help others be more self-reliant. Here's a couple more examples. During a famine, Elijah asked a widow to give him her last meal. Elijah promised that because of her faith, the Lord would provide food to her, and her food never ran out. "When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them." And that's Isaiah 41, verse 17. So there are lots of examples in how our faith in Jesus Christ has led to temporal and spiritual blessings and self-reliance. So as part of our commitments and an activity from the first presidency and Quorum of the 12, they invite us to increase our faith in Heavenly Father and His Son, Jesus Christ. And we can do this by doing a few things, and these are the commitments that are asked of us, is to show our faith this Sunday by keeping the Sabbath day holy and reverently partaking of the sacrament, reading from the scriptures every day, and then sharing what we learn with family or friends. All right, so that pretty much covers our foundation principle. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the business principle, where we are going to talk about solving unmet customer needs. And we're going to start that with, why do people buy? Okay, so we have a little narration now between two people that are discussing kind of the principle of why do people buy. I am only one person, and this is a script for two people, so hopefully I can read it in a way that makes sense and isn't too cheesy or anything like that. But it is a conversation between two people, which are called Danielle and Solomon. So I'm going to go ahead and read this script, and it's going to kind of go into that principle of why people buy. And it starts with Danielle. She says, "I love dogs, and I love to bedazzle. So I thought, why not combine the two things I love into a career?" Solomon says, "How did that go?" And she replies, "Let's just say I was barking up the wrong tree." "Sounds like you need to do a little more market research." "That sounds like something I have no idea how to do." "Well, think of the people you are trying to sell to. They are your market. From there, it's just a matter of asking them the right questions." "You mean I should ask the dogs if they like being bedazzled?" "I mean, you should ask the dog owners what they want and how much they are willing to pay for it. We all know that dog owners love their dogs, but what are some things they don't have time for? Or what don't they like that they are willing to pay someone else to do? Well, I know they hate to clean up after their dogs. That's a start. Why don't you go out and start asking some questions? Okay, how about this question? What does your dog enjoy? Yes, another good question might be, what's something you want to give your dog but don't have time for? Okay, I think I get it. And then Solomon says, everybody wants different things. The key to starting a business is finding something that a lot of people want and are willing to pay for. It's simple customer research. Once you know what a lot of people want and are willing to pay for, you can create a business that meets their needs. Okay, so then this next part is after Danielle has started her business. And Danielle says, okay, I asked a lot of questions and I talked to a lot of dog owners. It turns out that dog owners want someone to love their dogs as much as they do and to take care of them while they are gone. So that's what I built my business around. Oh, and I still ask a lot of questions like, what can I do to make you and your dog even happier? And Solomon asks, so the unmet need is? And she replies, doggy daycare. Dog lovers want their dogs taken care of when they can't be with them. So I take them for walks, clip their toenails, give them a good wash, teach them tricks, and I get paid to do it. All right, so that is our story to kind of introduce that principle. Learning how to identify and meet customer needs. Successful business owners seek to understand and meet the unmet needs of customers. Understanding customer needs is an ongoing journey that requires significant effort, time, and persistence. Your customer needs will change over time, so you will continually need to adapt your business to meet them. This is true whether you are considering a new business opportunity or managing an existing business. This section will help you learn how to identify the variety of needs your customers might have. All right, so the next part is another activity, and it is a list of different business categories, and it suggests finding one category that you find interesting and that you feel like has a customer need that you specifically can solve. And some of the examples that it has in here are things like accounting services, catering, music lessons, photography, social media services, web design. So those are the different kind of categories to give you an idea of what you can come up with yourself. Me personally, I am really into woodworking and creating things, so my category is kind of developing a creative space for customers. So once you discover what category that you personally want to kind of pursue, you need to write down 3 needs that people would pay for under that category. And then you can write down a business opportunity that would meet that need. So it does give an example in here, and the example is the category is wedding services, and they have listed 3 customer needs under that and then the 3 business opportunities. The first need is wedding invitations that look unique, and the business opportunity would be calligraphy for custom wedding invitations. The second customer need is innovative wedding videos. And the business opportunity under that would be drones for wedding photography. And then the last one that they listed is difficulty in sending out thank you cards. And the business opportunity would be a service that sends out genuine thank you cards for the couple. So I also answered this within the business group for myself. And this is kind of what I came up with. So just be thinking about this for yourself and write it down. If you want to join the Facebook group, then you can post it in there and get, some feedback from others in the group. But I told you I'm interested in giving kind of a creative space for people to come and create things, whether for personal use or business use. And the customer needs that I came up with are the fact that people need access to a variety of equipment and supplies within that creative space that they don't have the financial capability to have personally or the space to hold. And then maybe they don't have knowledge on how to work some of the equipment. Maybe they want to test the waters in creating certain things, but they don't have the know-how and how to do it. And then the third one is the money to invest in the inventory and supplies. So the business opportunities that I have created would be making a makerspace. I don't know if you know what a makerspace is. Basically, it's a place with a whole bunch of different things that people can come in and they can have access to the equipment and use it. For me and my business, I would include things like woodworking, laser cutting machines, vinyl machines, heat presses, and things along that nature. I do have a workshop because I'm a woodworker, so that's something that people don't have access to that I can provide for them. And then I can also give workshops and tutorials to help people learn how to use it and then be able to create their own shops and start their own businesses off of that. And then lastly, I would create different tiers of pricing so that I can hopefully meet different budget types for all sorts of people. So those are the ideas that I had for my personal business. Let me know what you think about that and my ideas. I would love some constructive criticism or feedback. And again, go ahead and write down some of your own thoughts and ideas. All right, so the next part of this book kind of goes over a little bit more of the market research side of things and reaching out to customers. So that's what we're going to go over right now. And it says, to have a viable business opportunity, you must meet a need or solve a problem that people are willing to pay for. To determine if people would be willing to pay for your service or product, you need to talk to them about it. By talking with potential customers, you can assess the demand for your service or product and see if it's sufficient to sustain the sales you need for your business to succeed. Customer feedback can also help refine your business idea. Begin testing your business idea with customers early, before you invest much time or money, to see if there's a market for it. I think that's really important. Most business owners have to adjust and refine their ideas and the details behind their business many times before they find the right offering that has the potential to succeed. If people don't have a strong interest in your service or product and aren't willing to pay for it, even after you refine it, start over with another idea. Don't continue to invest in an idea that doesn't have strong potential for success. In addition to talking with potential customers to evaluate your business idea, you need to do other research. The Lord has counseled, study it out in your mind. If people are willing to pay for your service or product, that's a good start. But you need to keep testing and refining your idea. Study what your competitors are doing. Research information online and read industry publications. Talk to experts who know about the kind of business that you are considering. These efforts will help you understand the business environment and consider potential risks and opportunities. These efforts will also help you develop and refine your business idea based on facts, knowledge, and data. All right, so now we're going to go in and we're going to talk a little bit about observing and taking advantage of changes. And this is going to probably hit a little harder this time because of the pandemic and things that have been going on. There have been lots of changes, and it's kind of about taking advantage of those changes in your business. Change is all around us and is always happening. Many people fear change. However, successful business owners welcome change because it allows them to address unmet needs and solve problems. They are constantly observing and anticipating changes and trends. They act on these opportunities quickly. And some changes that business owners care about include demographic changes. That's the first one. These are shifts in populations based on gender, age, race, ethnicity, religion, language, income, education, and other factors. And specifically, I live in Idaho, and we have seen huge growth within my area. So that would be a change that I specifically am dealing with right now. The second change is the regulatory or government-imposed changes. These result from laws, regulations, or orders from governments or other authoritative bodies. That is something else that we have seen a lot of around the world, especially with the pandemic and the having to shut down different places, implementing safety measures and social distancing and things like that. So that's definitely another change that businesses have and will probably continue to experience over time. The third change is technological changes. These are innovations or inventions that improve efficiency or achieve other benefits. That is another one. As far as me personally, I feel like products are getting purchased more and more online and is going more to online retailers versus brick and mortar stores and retail stores and locations, which is why I want to create a business that is more of an experience, a place where people can gather and socialize and get their creative juices flowing, because the product-based business it's definitely going more online, I feel like. Let me know what your thoughts are below. The last change is cultural changes. These are shifts in a group's values, norms, and beliefs that affect behavior. All right, so going along those lines of taking advantage of changes, this is another activity that you can write down in your business notebook or in the comments below or join the Facebook group. But here are some of these steps that we've been asked to do to complete for this week. And step 1 is identify a recent change and write it on the line below. I've already named several of those, so you could just grab one of those and use that. Step 2, identify one business opportunity that would meet a need and take advantage of that change and write it on the line below. On the line below, if you have the book in front of you or just in your notebook. Step 3 would be come back together as a group, discuss how observing and taking advantage of change can help you in your business. This is where the group and the comments below are going to be super beneficial because we could talk about it together and we could give positive and feedback and hopefully help each other build those ideas. All right. The next part that we are going to go over is finding my passion and drawing on my experience. All right, finding my passion and drawing on my experience. We have all been given gifts from our Father in heaven. Successful business owners often pursue businesses that align with their gifts, talents, passions, and interests. Their primary interest is typically not money. Instead, it is solving a problem or meeting a need that they care greatly about. These business owners often spend their free time thinking about their business because they care deeply about making positive change. This sense of purpose provides commitment to quality and excellence with the business and resilience and drive during tough times. Successful business owners often have experience working in the industry of their business, working in a related industry, or consuming the services or products of the industry. This experience often provides business owners with knowledge of the competition, valuable relationships, and awareness of customers' problems and unmet needs. All right, we have got ourselves another narration between two individuals. The individuals are Mark and Rich. And so this is going along with solving unmet needs. So I'm going to start as Mark. And he says, for 22 years, I've been working in communications, front office type stuff. I took the job because I love baseball. I kept it because I didn't really know what else to do. Most of the writing I do has nothing to do with the game. It's business writing. There's no passion in it for me at all. So Rich asks him, I'm assuming these guys are buddies. Rich asks him, so are you looking to make a change? And Mark replies, yes, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure how to go about it. I love being in the stadium, and I love being around the players. I love reading and research, and I love telling the stories. Rich says, okay, it sounds like those are some things you are passionate about. Well, I'd really love to play baseball, but I'm way too old for that now. Okay, let's take that off the list. So we have love being around the players, love reading and research, love telling stories. And Mark says, yeah, those are my top 3. In your top 3 skills, you mentioned storytelling. Mark says, good stories. I like to research and write them. I'm a good writer, but I also love to tell stories to groups and to friends. Rich says, reading, writing, storytelling. Sounds like you've thought a lot about this. More like I've spent a lot of time writing things down and throwing them away. I wrote down every idea and tossed out the bad ones. And why were the bad... And Rich said, and why were the bad ideas, bad? Well, they seemed out of my zone. You know what I mean? I've been around baseball for 22 years. I know people will spend money on the game and lots of stuff around the game. I want to find something I care about and can still make enough money to support my family. So Rich says, I think you're on the right track. You know what your skills are and what you're passionate about. If your customers are baseball fans like you, what do you think they would want? Well, that's the question I keep asking myself. There's got to be some kind of unmet need out there that these fans would want. Now you're going to tell me how many wads of paper that added up to. Exactly. Even though I did narrow it down, I still have lots of bad ideas. So now that you have a list of unmet needs, what are they? Mark says, I think that the fans want a backstage pass. They want to see the behind the scenes stuff. They want to hear the stories they can only get by being there. At the end of the day, they want to be entertained, and they love that it's a premium, like getting box seats behind home plate. Okay, now I think we're on to something. Yeah, but how do I make money at it? Do I create a podcast, write a documentary, build a baseball amusement park, make an app? All right, so that is their conversation discussing his personal desire to change his business, do something that he's passionate about, but do it in a way that is going to provide his customers something that they need and that they want, and will provide himself the financial stability to still support his family. All right, so we are going to continue on that path of exploring our passions and our skills. And this is the next activity. This is something else that you can write down in your journal. And the first question is, if I had a free day to do something that interested me, how would I spend that day? Personally, me, I would be building and creating something because that's what I love to do. Where can I make the greatest contribution with my talents in serving others in a meaningful way? That's something that I feel like where I can provide my knowledge and provide workshops and give people the ability to have access to my equipment and my knowledge to build something for themselves that they can create, that they can be proud of. Another question to contemplate is, what are 3 skills I have that I could use to earn money? What are 3 industries or fields where I have significant working experience or deep knowledge and interest? And then the last question, what needs or problems exist in these fields that have not been solved? All right, so those are just some questions that you can ponder. All right, in the next section of this week's chapter, we are going to discuss, does my business opportunity have a competitive advantage? And this is another important part of your business model. Alrighty, we're going to continue on. All businesses have competitors, so your business needs to have a competitive advantage to earn a profit and keep customers. To have a competitive advantage, your business needs to be different or better than your competitors. A competitive advantage often provides a barrier to entry that makes it difficult for competitors to copy your service or product. So what is a competitive advantage? It's kind of hard to say. Most people would answer hard work, good customer service, or staying open late. That's a start, but to truly have an advantage over a competitor is to have something they don't have. It's like building an obstacle course around your business that a competitor would have a really tough time getting through. Maybe you have a secret recipe, a unique piece of machinery, a network of distributors, or an original product, invention, or patent. Maybe your shop is in the perfect location. It might be as simple as having a loyal following of customers and a brand that they can trust. Let's go back to Mark and Rich to see if they can determine Mark's competitive advantage. All right, so we're going back to Mark and Rich, and we're going to start with Rich. He says, so you've had a few more days to think about your business idea. You went through a lot of paper. Oh, yeah. Well, let's review some of those ideas. A baseball theme park? No way. That costs millions. Okay. Podcast, app, or documentary. Any of those feel achievable? Achievable, yes, but I don't think I could make any money off them. So, are you stuck? Well, I was, but then I went back to my list of skills and passions. Good, let's look at them a little differently. Which of them is a competitive advantage? I'm not sure I know what you mean. well, what do you have that nobody else has? And Mark says, well, I've worked in the stadium for 22 years. I know it inside and out. Every corner, every seat, every locker has a unique story. Player superstitions, funny pranks, all the good stuff. And I have a good relationship with the staff and ownership, so I can continue to get good stories. I've written many of them down. Old players, new players, bat boys, Roger the infamous autograph hound. Sounds like you have a passion for collecting behind-the-scenes stories that everybody loves. And you've collected and documented more than everybody else in the organization. Yeah, it's all stuff that fans love, but don't have access to. And you know how to tell a good story. So those are all competitive advantages? Sure. How much would fans pay to hear stories like the ones you've collected? While taking a tour of the stadium? A lot. Nobody has the access that I have. Nobody can tell stories the way I do. I mean, you take a tour now and they tell you how far it is to the center field, how many fans the stadium holds, and then they show you where the sports writers sit. That's boring. I could do so much more than that. All right then, I think you have a business idea you're passionate about. You have all the right skills, and you found something fans want, and you definitely have a competitive advantage. In fact, you have a number of them: stadium access, contacts at the stadium, and 22 years of stories. All right, so that kind of finishes up that narrative for meeting customer needs. Hopefully you learned a little something from those examples that we talked about. And I encourage you to write in the comments below or go back to the Facebook group and write down the competitive advantages that your business idea has or the business that you're currently running. We are going to wrap up this week. We have a couple different activities that we were asked to do as far as under our foundation principle, keeping the Sabbath day holy, reading our scriptures, and then also within the business aspect, writing down the advantages that your business has and coming up with unmet customer needs and how you can take advantage of those needs. So make sure you're doing that. Also, some of the things that we are going to want to do and go over the next time are creating a list of 5 unmet customer needs in your business notebook. Create the list of competitive advantages for 5 different businesses in your business notebook. So that challenge is actually paying attention to different businesses in your area and being able to identify the specific advantage that they have over the other businesses in the area. And then I hope that you guys are still reaching out to your person that you are accountable to keep you on top of your commitments. And then make sure that you're asking around for different ideas from people within your area, your potential customers, the things that they would want and look for in a business so that you can hone down the specific details of your business model that will be actually successful within your area and region. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is always fun to go through. It's been fun for me to reflect on as I continue on my own business model. So we will meet again next Monday. Next Monday is ensuring that I have a profitable business. Our foundation principle is going to be managing money. And then the business principles are going to include things like, would I want this business? Understanding variable cost and fixed costs, gross profit margin, net profit margin, accounting for the value of my time, price for my service or product, and do I have a profitable business? Next week is going to be packed full of information just like this week. I hope you like this kind of content. If you do, please comment, like, subscribe, and we'll check you guys out next week.